What's going on, everybody? Good morning. We have made it to Sunday. We are an hour away from football, and we're about 4.5 hours away from Seahawks football. So we got some last minute game notes here. And most of this stuff is stuff that was passed along midday yesterday. So we don't have anything hot off the presses here. But I thought it'd be good to just quickly round up all the information that we have. It's actually some pretty decent news on the Seahawks side of things, and actually, you'd say for the Rams as well, probably. Real quick though, first, nothing on Ernest Jones yet. Ernest Jones was listed as questionable, but my understanding is that he is going to play. There is optimism from McDonald that Ernest Jones will play. So if you were wondering about Ernest Jones, we don't know. Sounds like he'll be okay. So we've got that, hopefully. We also have, in almost all likelihood, I think this one's pretty much a certainty, George Fant. Brady Henderson tweeted this yesterday. The Seahawks activated right tackle George Fant off IR, so he'll be available to play tomorrow for the first time since he hurt his knee in the opener. So that means George Fant's probably starting. And I know that Mike Gerald's a popular guy right now. I know people like what he's doing. They're excited for him, but realistically, his play was only marginally better than what we were getting from Stone Forsythe. It just, I think, looks a little bit better because in one of those games the offense played really well, so you don't notice the right tackle factor nearly as much. But realistically, he wasn't playing much better. The main difference was that Forsythe had to deal with guys like Hutchinson and Bosa, and uh, Gerald got to play guys who were a little of a lesser grade. So I do welcome this. George Fant was a guy we signed in the offseason with the expectation that he would be significantly better than replacement level. Now, that doesn't mean he's guaranteed to be that, but we expect him to be. So he should be significantly better in all areas of football compared to Mike Gerald or Stone Forsythe. He's not as athletic as Gerald, I guess, but being athletic is not really helping Gerald play football right now. He needs time in the oven, and I'm excited to give him that time in the oven, don't get me wrong. He has immense potential to be a very good player in this league, but right now, George Fant can change things for this offense. I give George Fant a realistic chance of being a significant improvement over what we've had, and that could affect the game in a positive way for the Seahawks. So, welcome back, George Fant. Hope you do actually play. If you don't play, I'm going to be annoyed that I got okey doked at the very end there. But it sounds like he's going to be good. Cameron Young was placed on injured reserve to make room. Cameron Young wasn't really playing very much anyway, even when he was healthy, and it just kind of seems like he can't quite get past whatever this injury is. It never really felt like he made it all the way back, which might be part of the reason why he doesn't play that much, but in a typical Seahawks defense rotation for a normal game, Cam Young just doesn't really have any place on the field. So it is what it is. I feel for him, but it's not a big loss for this team the way they're playing right now and the way they're rotating players right now. And I will say, I think that Cam Young might have some value as a pure nose tackle when we go three down linemen, but that's clearly not what we want to do. So that has limited value. So I don't know if we're going to see Cam Young again this season, and I guess that's okay. Next year, Jaron Reed's probably gone, and that might be an opportunity for Cam Young to step up, especially because Hankins is a free agent too. He might be gone as well. So we'll see then, but for this year, I think he's basically just out of it. Practice squad elevations were Josh Joby again, which tells me that they're not all the way there with their confidence level of Trey Brown right now. Maybe they legitimately think that Joby is a roughly equivalent player, and they don't want to get stuck with Trey Brown out there for every snap if he doesn't have it. But McDonald did mention earlier this week that he does consider Joby and Brown to be in competition for cornerback reps. So either he really likes what he's seen from Joby, which that would be fair, or he's really unhappy with what he sees from Trey Brown, which I think that would be a little over the top, or some combination of those two things, right? So I think Trey Brown's clearly a better player than Joby, and even though Joby had the pick last week and almost scored a touchdown, on the whole, he did not play a very good game at all. And you can see the problems with his just physical limitations. And I do believe that Trey Brown, even though he's had some bad moments recently, is still a very good player. And he's in a contract year, so you're going to get the best out of him in the long run. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Trey Brown's not 100% there yet, and they just want Joby there for an emergency. Also elevated Cody White, which makes a lot of sense because Metcalf is out, and we already know that. So a guy like Cody White may very well even get to play a few snaps. I'd normally say a chunk of the workload would go over to Chenault, but Chenault clearly doesn't have enough going on in this offense for him to be out there enough, or else I think you would have seen that against the Bills. So that's all the Seahawks news. That's all we have at the moment. Again, there wasn't really a lot that was going to happen because we knew Abe Lucas wasn't going to be back this week, but that's the roundup. Let's go over to the Rams side of things. We got this tweet from Schefter yesterday, reported from a couple other places earlier in the day than that. Puka is expected to try to play. He's listed as questionable due to the knee injury, but Rams expect Puka to try to play, which that doesn't exactly sound like the most confident statement, right? That's a statement that implies he's going to go out there and test it out in pregame and make a decision there. So it's possible that nothing has really changed and they're just going to take it right up to game time, kind of like we did with DK last week. But there is a slight there's a little bit of energy moving in the direction of him playing, which who knows if that would even be a good thing or not. It depends on how effective he can be. But this is definitely worth monitoring. We're down our top receiver. If the Rams are down their top receiver, then, well, I mean, that's something that has an effect on this game. The Rams are used to playing without their number one receiver because he's been out since week 1. But it is worth noting that they're not committing to him being able to play or not being able to play yet. They're just going to kind of let it go up to kickoff. So that's the big thing going on with the Rams going into this game here. We'll probably get an update about an hour before kickoff, maybe an hour and a half. Also worth noting, their typical punter is out, Ethan Evans, so they called up a punter from their practice squad, Ty Zentner. And I don't know anything about Ty Zentner. I don't really know that much about Ethan Evans either. But one thing that I will say is that that's worth monitoring. A new punter that isn't as familiar with these long snappers, that isn't as familiar with the just playing with the team in general, you wonder if there's going to be a problem because he's also going to be holding, right? He's also going to be holding for field goals and extra points. You wonder if that could mess up their processes in some way. So worth monitoring. If they have a bad punt or a botched field goal at some point in that game, then you can probably point to this because there just isn't that continuity between kicker and punter and holder and snapper that you would usually get. All right, guys, so video is going to get posted after the game finishes, usually 20-30 minutes after the game ends. And then there is going to be a stream during the second half or so of Sunday Night Football. Hope to see you guys there, and hope we're talking about a win. I really am. All right, talk to you guys later. Go Hawks. Those are your last-minute game notes.